Alright, I'm going to show you today how to make a macro inside Final Fantasy XIV to possibly make your crafting a little easier. Maybe not as efficient, but it definitely makes it a lot less button clicks or keystrokes to use. This applies to PC or PS3, and after this video, if you have PC and you want to find out how to make a macro using your hardware software to utilize the macro making in the game to make it auto click and continuously loop and run click and in-game macros, check out my other video, but for this one is just for making your basic macro. So why make a macro? Well, basically for this demonstration it's just to make less keystrokes, give you a little more time to, you can press one button, basically it'll run through it and you can do something for that whole minute or two that you save. I use them constantly crafting. So this one I'm a level 15 alchemist, which is my lowest, but to go into macros, go to system and user macros. Now these are all my macros I created. This is your basic macro right here. It was just synthesis. This is no quality, I'm not worried about that. I'm just trying to pump out as many of these items as I can. Just basically click on any open space. You can click on here and select any of these little icons to make it unique. You can click and name it what you want, and then this is where you enter your commands. So this one is your basic synth. I just made this just for this. Actually, this is the same thing, but I always use careful synth instead of basic in case, well, it ain't gonna fail, so you don't have to worry about the macro screwing up, or you having to do the extra click to synthesize it, because that would take away the whole point of making this macro. So I'm gonna use rubber for an example. It's only an 18 difficulty, so I know I can one-shot it, but I always put in that extra careful synthesis just in case my gear starts to wear down, and it might take two. Instead of me running back and forth or me repairing my own gear, I'll just keep trucking along. I don't care if it's 0. I can always repair it at a later time, but it'll only add basically another step synthesis. So this AC right here, this is how you write a macro. AC is action. It's got to have these backslashes, action, quotation marks, and what action you want to take. Careful synth, or you can put anything in here, tricks of the trade, but it's got to be typed out the way it looks. So then you close that off with a quotation mark, just like any other coding, and you do the less than me, greater than sign to cast it on you. Now you have to have these wait times in there, because obviously it takes a second or two to cast those actions. 2.5 is pretty much the standard, and all you gotta do is put backslash wait 2.5, and then go to the next line. And I got this other careful synth, and that should, so one keystroke is going to basically perform two functions, two actions. I'll move that down to action number 1, so I can either press 1 on my keyboard or just click on this. I'm going to click synthesize, and I'm going to click on it, and careful. Now I knew it would only take one shot. See, that's why I said cannot execute at this time, because it didn't need that other careful synth, but it didn't matter. I'm just clicking, press 1 on my keyboard. Obviously this macro isn't saving any time because it's only one move, But if I wanted to make this, if I want to make a macro to try and get as most quality out of it as I can, which I already did, here's a simple HQ macro part 1. Now I had to make 2 of them because you're only allowed 15 lines of command in per macro. So I mean, those wait times cut the amount of actions you can do in half. So like this one I had to do, you know, this one's just your basic one: steady hand, waist nod, base touch, haste touch, haste touch, haste touch. Sometimes you gotta figure out how much CP you're using, you know. So I mean, you're constantly tinkering with these, but once you get them set for a while, you can just, you know, do them. I mean, that's why I have so many. And then here's part 2 with a double basic shot synthesis at the end, even though, like I said, I only need 1. But doing this, your gears, doing these ones, your gears gonna wear down more, so it doesn't hurt to have that extra synthesis. So I'm gonna click and drag them into the 1 and 2 spot. I already have the second one there. So this is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm not counting that because it isn't necessarily gonna have to do it every time. So 11 moves in 2 clicks. I mean, that's saving a little more time there. I'm gonna hit the keyboard 1 and 2. So click synthesize, press number 1 on my keyboard. It's gonna run through the moves. I'm not doing nothing. I'm not pressing no keys, nothing. The only downfall of this though is, you know, like, that could be red, but it could, but because of the macros running, it might be on this move, and it kind of wasted my quality that it could have been. But that's just the way it goes with macros. I mean, they're this preset moves, and you just gotta let it run. During the macro too, you can't be clicking down here and typing because you're in another window and it's actually hitting 1, you know, so it's just going to screw it up, so I just let it go. Well, it finished the first macro, and I'm going to hit number 2 and let it finish it out. Go back here. Well, that ended up being HQ, which is, you know, so I only had to press 2 buttons, 1 and 2. You have to let 1 run first before you hit 2. So that's your basic macro making. I mean, it saves time. You can do it for combat, but a lot of classes doesn't help because you have to be facing the target. And if you have that setting on where every time you cast, or every time you do an action towards an enemy, it'll face the enemy. But with the macro, it doesn't help out because, let's say you, like this one, you know, for the Gladiator has, you know, combo set up. Now if I have it to where he's facing at it, the enemy, you see this T, it's the same process except T is target instead of yourself. It's not casting, you know. So if the enemy's like about to do an AoE attack, and I got that setting on, and this macro's running, and I gotta run out of side of the red circle. Let's say I'm running just straight up, just pressing up. That macro will keep running, so as soon as it casts another move, it's gonna make my character turn towards the enemy, and it'll rotate my camera, and that up will now become me running back towards the enemy, so that doesn't help. That's, you know, I guess Bard it would help, but it wouldn't help for any mages because you got to be standing still. I don't know, it's just a lot playing around. It's more useful for crafting, but that's pretty much it. Check out my other video if you're a PC player, and it'll show you how to actually make it even way more easier and automatic, these macros, that it's just ridiculous. So thanks for watching, subscribe, and if you have any suggestions on order of moves for synthesizing or for crafting, let me know, because I'm trying to find the best order of moves for the most quality, you know, just hit me up, subscribe to my channel. I'll talk to you later. Peace.